I was sitting at my desk when my phone buzzed. A message from Claire, my fiancée, 2 weeks until our wedding. Everything was set. Flowers, deposits, guest lists. I opened the text expecting something about seating arrangements. Instead, it read, "Honey, I'm pregnant." My heart stopped. Then it raced. I smiled before I'd even processed it properly. We were having a baby. I was going to be a father. Everything felt perfect. Then I read the next line. My smile vanished. I was thinking of putting my ex's name on the birth certificate. It's more meaningful. I read it again and again. My brain refused to accept what I was seeing. More meaningful than what? More meaningful than me? More meaningful than the father? The joy that had flooded me 30 seconds earlier turned cold. When was the last time we were together? 3 weeks ago, maybe 4. Had she seemed distant lately? I tried to remember, but the details blurred. My hands were shaking, not with anger yet, but with a new, awful uncertainty. What if this baby wasn't mine? It was a thought I didn't want, but my mind started connecting dots. Claire hadn't said the baby wasn't mine. She hadn't confessed to anything. But why mention her ex in the same breath as announcing a pregnancy? People don't think like that for no reason. I typed back, fingers that felt foreign. What great news! Congratulations! Sarcasm felt safer than confrontation. I needed answers before accusations. I needed reactions. I needed to know what to believe. I left the office without telling anyone. In the car, Claire texted again, "I'm so happy. Let's celebrate tonight." Excited? I felt a dozen things, but excitement wasn't one of them. I needed someone who might give me honest answers. Someone who'd react if there was anything to hide. I drove to the neighborhood she'd once mentioned, where her ex, Zachary, supposedly lived. It took 40 minutes. 40 minutes of replaying the text in my head. Maybe she'd been joking. Maybe it was a bad attempt at sentiment. Maybe I was overreacting. But the phrase "more meaningful" played on loop. Why would she even think that? A tidy 2-story house? A blue sedan, a silver SUV in the driveway, married couple cars. I parked across the street and sat for a moment. Then I walked up and knocked. 3 firm knocks. My heart hammered. My face was calm. A woman opened the door. Blonde, mid-30s. Zachary's wife, probably. She asked who I was. I showed her the message. She read it, her face shifting from confusion to shock. She called her husband. He came home in 20 minutes, pale and breathless. He read the text, then looked at me like I'd handed him a grenade. "I haven't talked to Claire in years," he said. "I'm married. I haven't been anywhere near her." His denial sounded panicked. Innocent people get confused. Guilty people panic. I didn't know which this was, but I'd achieved what I'd come for. Answers, or at least more questions. I left and drove to Claire's apartment. She had the door open before I knocked. She looked wrecked. Red eyes, hair pulled back. "Where have you been?" she demanded. I walked in, sat, and told her calmly about the text. She kept repeating that she hadn't been thinking clearly. She said she only meant maybe as a middle name to honor people from her past. We went back and forth. My questions were precise. Her answers kept shifting. Then my phone buzzed. An unknown number. "Tell your crazy fiancé to leave me alone. I'm happily married." It was a text from Zachary. I showed it to Claire. She froze. I told her I'd gone to his house. She called it an ambush. I called it getting answers. She was furious. She cried. She pleaded. She swore it was nothing. I told her that words matter. She had written something unbelievably specific. She owed me clarity. I demanded a paternity test. She agreed reluctantly. I canceled the wedding. I told her it couldn't happen when I didn't even know if I was the father. She said I was ruining everything. I said I was protecting myself. For a week, everything spiraled. Claire called and texted until my phone filled with messages. Her family begged me to trust her. Zachary's wife filed for divorce. Zachary started locking his phone. His sudden secrecy made everything look worse. My friends split into camps. My parents offered support and cautious calm. The day of the test arrived. We sat in the waiting room, not speaking. Blood taken, vials labeled. Results would take days. The waiting felt endless. A week later, the lab called. Results were ready. My hands trembled as I opened the email. Then the words I never wanted to see. Probability of paternity, 0%. Excluded. The baby was not mine. For a moment, I felt nothing. No relief, no rage. Just emptiness. Then Claire called. She whispered that she had cheated. One night at a bar. One mistake. She thought maybe it could be Zachary's, but she hadn't told me. She hadn't been honest. I laughed, because that was the only thing that matched how absurd it all felt. Fix this? She begged. I told her it was over. I blocked her number. I forwarded the test to Zachary's wife. I called my parents. We sat in the living room, stunned but resolute. I went to Claire's apartment one last time. She begged for forgiveness. I asked for my money back. Deposits, vendors, every dollar I'd spent planning a life with her. She couldn't pay it all then. Her parents wrote a check for part of it. I took it. No emotions, just closure. Within weeks, social media blew up. People chose sides and lives shifted. Zachary's marriage collapsed. Claire's family fractured. I scheduled an STD test because that was the last thing I needed on top of everything. It came back clean. Small mercy. Months later, life was different. I moved, focused on work, reconnected with friends, and slowly trusted again, but differently. I'd learned to verify, not just believe. Claire's text had saved me from a life built on a lie. She had made a choice. I made mine. 3 weeks ago, she sent a message from a new number. I'm sorry. I blocked it without responding. Some apologies come too late. Some bridges burn and never mend. If you've been through something similar, you know how gut-wrenching the doubt can be. And if you're about to make a life-changing decision, trust your instinct, but get the facts. Trust and verification are partners, not enemies. Beat, thanks for listening. If you want more real-life stories like this, hit subscribe and check the 2 videos on your screen now. I'll see you in the next one.